Hello everyone. As today is 25th of June, which is also observed as World Vitiligo Day. So we'll be having idea about vitiligo in brief so that we can stop discrimination against people suffering from vitiligo and spread the awareness about the disease. To start with, what is vitiligo? Vitiligo is acquired pigmentary anomaly of the skin characterized by depigmented white patches surrounded by normal or hypopigmented border. The word vitiligo was first used by Roman physician Aulus Cornelius Celsus in his classic medical text De Medicina. In Rigveda also, the word kilasa was used, which means similar to white spotted deer. The earliest known reference to kilasa was in 2200 BC. Atharveda also carries the description of the disease kilasa along with several herbal prescriptions. Looking to the epidemiology of the disease, vitiligo affects all races worldwide. There is no predilection for either of the sex, that is, male and female are affected equally, can occur at any age group, can affect any sex, and the highest incidence of vitiligo is seen in India and Mexico. The rough estimate in India is to be 3 to 4% of the total population. Commonly involves people of skin type 3 and 4. Higher incidence is seen in people with atopic dermatitis. Onset of unilateral dermatomal types occur usually in childhood within 10 years of the age. Most cases with bilateral non-dermatomal lesions, that is patients suffering from vitiligo vulgaris, begin in second to fourth decade of life. Familial incidences between 20 to 30 years, and autosomal dominant inheritance with variable expression and incomplete penetrance is seen. That is, if a person is suffering from vitiligo, it is not mandatory that his coming generations will be all suffering from the same disease, or the severity of the disease will vary. In pathogenesis, there are several theories which are been documented or which are been investigated, some of which are immune response hypothesis, neural hypothesis, autotoxic self-destructive or free radical hypothesis, composite hypothesis, melanocyte growth factor reduction hypothesis, antioxidant deficiency theory, melanocytorrhea, and apoptosis of vitiligo melanocytes, which ultimately leads to the destruction of melanocytes with decrease in melanin production and formation of hypopigmented patches. Then clinical presentation of the disease is, we can see a well-defined depigmented macule which varies in number and may show depigmented hair on it, which is also a poor prognostic sign and also known as leukotrichia. Hyperpigmented margin is seen around the lesion. Trichrome vitiligo and quadrichrome vitiligo are the other variants of the vitiligo where you can see a amelanotic patch surrounded by hypermelanotic margin, which is again surrounded by normal skin. Quadrichrome vitiligo is also a variant of trichrome vitiligo. Initially, lesions may be few, followed by insidious progression of macules, varying widely in size, shape, number, and location. Episodic phases of rapid extension of lesions are seen. Here we can see the patches of the vitiligo. Sites which are commonly affected are face, periorificial, neck, chest, wall, areola, elbows, dorsal surface of hands, skin over digits, lower back, legs, knees, pretibial area, sides of ankle, feet, and anogenital regions. Pretibial area is the most commonly affected site in India, and there is always a symmetrical distribution. Classification of vitiligo is based on extent and distribution, which is again divided into 4 types, that is localized, generalized, universalis, and special form. Localized, to be precise, focal vitiligo, where one or more macules in one area are affected, but not clearly in the segmental distribution. Unilateral or segmental vitiligo, where one or more macules involving unilateral segment of the body, lesions stop abruptly at the midline. And mucosal vitiligo, where only mucous membranes are affected. Generalized vitiligo, like that is vitiligo vulgaris, scattered patches that are widely distributed. Acrofacialis, distal extremities and face is affected and mixed, which shows both acrofacialis and vulgaris. Universalis, complete or near complete depigmentation, and special forms like trichrome vitiligo, quadrichrome vitiligo, and inflammatory vitiligo, which has already been discussed. Here the picture showing different types of vitiligo. The focal vitiligo can be seen Segmental vitiligo, where lesions are not crossing in the midline. Acrofacial, affecting the facial areas and distal extremities. Vulgaris, where complete or near complete depigmentation can be seen. And universalis. Vitiligo vulgaris is the commonest type. It usually affects people in their second decade. Family history is usually positive and progression can be rapid or slow. Segmental vitiligo usually occurs in children. There is no association with other autoimmune diseases. Depigmentation or dermatomal, depigmentation can be dermatomal or quasi-dermatomal. The disease follows a stable course. Leukotrachea can be seen. Lesions have feathery margins and distant lesions are uncommon. And this type of vitiligo has resistant to treatment. Here we can see the lip tip vitiligo and acrofacial vitiligo. Clinical presentation like Koebner's phenomena is common in vitiligo vulgaris. Koebner's phenomenon is formation of vitiliginous lesions in previously normalized skin secondary to trauma. And Valesio vitiligo is when emotional trauma and repression responsible for rapid extension and spread of vitiliginous lesions. Associated disorders like dermatological conditions are like caninitis, alopecia areata, atopic eczema, psoriasis, scleroderma, lichen planus, lichen simplex, discoid lupus erythematosus, halo nevus, ichthyosis vulgaris, and some systemic conditions like pernicious anemia, Addison's disease, Graves' disease, hypothyroidism, thyroiditis, hyperthyroidism, hyperparathyroidism, diabetes mellitus, internal malignancies, antibodies against adrenal gland, thyroglobulin, and gastric parietal cell antigen, gastritis, gastric carcinoma, and IgA deficiency. Likely, all the diseases have an autoimmune etiology. Prognostic factors are a long-standing disease, leukotrachea, acrofacial lesions, and lesions on resistance area have poor prognosis. Psychological impact, which is to be most important to be looking in the patients while treating them, that is feeling of stress, embarrassment, and self-consciousness, perception of discrimination, low self-esteem, disturbed sexual relationship. The psychological impact is mostly neglected aspect while you treat the patient. So this should be always kept in mind while treating the patient. Yes, the disease is harmless, disease is not contagious, but still this is considered as a taboo in our society. So every time if you treat a patient or you greet a patient, you have to keep that there is also a psychological impact of the disease in our society. Moving forward to the diagnosis of the disease, clinically, it is quite simple. Maximum cases are diagnosed clinically only, where you can see a depigmented macule. Then for other aids which help in our diagnosis are like Woods lamp, where lesions are seen as a milky white lesions. Histopathologically, we can do the biopsy of the lesion and see predilection to the sites of trauma. Investigations of associated disease include thyroid profile, CBC for pernicious anemia, evaluation about diabetes mellitus, and ophthalmological examinations. Histology shows absence of melanocytes and melanin in epidermis. Electron microscopy confirms the loss of melanocytes, which appears to be replaced by Langerhans cells, and there is increased cellularity in the dermis. Treatment mostly depends on the age of the patient, extent of the disease, pattern of the disease, cosmetic disability, and effect on quality of life. The modalities which are available for treatment are cosmetic, general measures, physical modalities, medical treatment, surgical treatment. Looking to the briefly about each modalities of the treatment. Cosmetic, the patches on the exposed part can be concealed by makeup, topical dyes, tanning cream. The advantage of the cosmetic is that they are cost effective, easy to apply, and there is any lack of side effect. But disadvantages are due to vigorous physical activities, there is a chances of shading of the above cosmetic creams or topical dyes, and it is useless to be used in an extensive disease. Physical measures, photochemotherapy, Soralen plus sunlight is also known as PUA sol, and Soralen plus UVA exposure is known as PUA. This forms the mainstay of vitiligo therapy. Soralens are tricyclic furocoumarins or 8-methoxysoralen, topical or synthetic, both are available, of which 8-methoxysoralen is most commonly used. UVA in special chamber containing UVA emitting tubes can be used as a source of light. Application of the Soralen, patients with less than 20% of body surface area, initially 0.05% or 0.1% strength can be used. Artificial UVA source of light should be given to the patient initially for 30 seconds and then increasing the exposure up to 10 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week. At 10 minutes, higher strength like 0.1% to 0.15% of the cream or ointment should be prescribed. Trunk, extremities, and fence respond better to PUA. The following regimen flowchart can be seen where topical therapy like ointments or lotion should be applied on the alternate basis, or when you are giving patient systemic therapy where Soralen can be used at a dose of 0.6 mg per kg, again on the alternate basis. And then we are asking patient for the sunlight exposure or giving them exposure through artificial UVA lamps. We have to gradually increase the exposure till the patient presents with mild erythema, and then we have to ask the patient to protect from sunlight for 8 hours, and this can be done by giving the patient broad spectrum sunscreen which consists of zinc oxide. Then the response to photochemotherapy, repigmentation is very slow. It usually begins in perifollicular area, becomes confluent most readily on the face, neck, and hairy areas, and slow responders are acral or non-hairy areas. Caution to be observed during photochemotherapies: shielding uninvolved skin and eyes, wash of topical solution immediately after the treatment, sunblocks, avoid direct or filtered sunlight for the rest of the day, and side effects like blistering, burning, and perilesional hyperpigmentation can be seen. This is the photo showing the UVA exposure chamber or UVB exposure chamber. The side effects are burns, nausea, erythema, pruritus, cirrhosis, fatigue, pigmentation, cataracts, and aging. Medical treatment, going from topical to the systemic. Topical steroids, when there is a single or new lesion, can be used as an adjuvant. High potency steroids for 1 to 2 months can be prescribed, which are again tapered to lower strength. Systemic steroids, when patient can be given, when patient can't be given physical modalities, there is rapid progressive vitiligo with PUA, vitiligo unresponsive to PUA. Then we have to start patients on systemic steroids, and can be given as oral minipulse, oral steroids on single day or on 2 consecutive days per week, which is most commonly used regimen. Then other drugs which can be used are tacrolimus or pimecrolimus. Mechanism of action, that is that they are calcineurin inhibitors used mostly for the facial lesions. Levamisole, it is immunomodulator given weekly or fortnightly dosing. Monobenzyl ether of hydroquinone, it is a depigmenting agent used mostly commonly in the vitiligo universalis to depigment the remaining patches of the skin. Or Archelin, again mechanism of action is photochemotherapy and placental extracts. Surgical modalities, when the vitiligo is stable, as in there is no increase in the lesion for at least 1 year, or there is no formation of any new lesion for 1 year, and if the areas of the vitiligo are not responding to the medical treatment of line or to the photochemotherapy, then we can go for surgical treatment. The indications for surgical treatment are sites poorly responsive to conventional therapy and patients with stable vitiligo. The surgical options are melanocyte transfer, blister grafting, punch grafting, split skin thickness grafting. So this is all about the vitiligo. As I told you in advance that 25th of June is also observed as a vitiligo day. It was started in 2011 when the first vitiligo day was observed, which then became a global event to support the people suffering from this disease, to support them economically, educationally, and to give them emotional support. There are various vitiligo support organizations which work for the same cause. So on the occasion of World Vitiligo Day, I would like to all of you to pledge or to start spreading awareness about the disease so that any taboo or any stigma related to the disease can be stopped. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.